Happy New Year, everyone. It's 2026 and we are 10 days away from the Australian Open and tennis is back on our screens. We've got ATP events, we've got the United Cup, WTA events as well, and we're going to speak about some of the tennis action.
Great to be back, JG, and we've got tennis on our screens again. And the Australian Open is not just 10 days away from the main draw, but it's pretty much a week away from the qualifying. And these tournaments that are going on right now are sort of giving us a little bit of insight into who may have started the year well. But the first matches of the year, how much can you look into someone's form when they've just had a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather over Christmas? They've had a few mince pies, they've had a bit of Christmas pud, and now they're getting back on the tennis court. What do you make of the tennis so far from what you've seen?
Well, historically, that's what we've done probably wrong. I think we've always looked into these early results far too much. So you're saying that from an experience view of been there, done that, got the T-shirt, he knows what's happening. Despite that, I'm going to go against everything you're saying and the experience, and I'm going to hype up the likes of Stefanos Tsitsipas and Hubie Hurkacz, two players who are top 10 players, let's be fair. They're quality players. But they've struggled last year. They was unable to get inside the top 10. And they've started this year fantastically well, both of them. And I think Stefanos Tsitsipas, he thinks that the feeling of feeling like yourself again, saying there's nothing better. He's just beaten Taylor Fritz on a hard court. Taylor Fritz not started the year so well. He also lost to Baez, I believe.
Yep.
At the United Cup. But Tsitsipas feeling himself. I watched the match and I thought he was excellent. Is he going to be back? Is he in the contention? I know with this win, I believe he's now a seed for the Australian Open, which is significant. We've seen him reach the final a few years ago against Novak Djokovic. Is he back?
Too early to say, but maybe this is the sign. The players that were good at the back end of last year, maybe they have required the break and they took a break. And people who weren't particularly good for the back end of last year, maybe they've been training. Maybe now they're looking forward to getting back on the tennis court, whereas the other people were maybe a little bit fatigued. So I think the cream will always rise to the top when we get to the slam. And well, even though Tsitsipas, it's been one of his better slams, the Australian Open, I'm still not convinced. I think that this is a good result, moving in the right direction, but don't read too much into it. He's definitely a top 10 player when he plays like this, but Taylor Fritz is not playing great. And the fact that he lost to Bias first, if you hadn't seen that first result, I think the Tsitsipas one would have looked a little bit better. But
I think he played better against Tsitsipas, though. It's just Tsitsipas brought the heat. And to give you some stats, that is his first top 10 win in 632 days for Tsitsipas. It's his first top 20 win since the Olympic Games 2024. And his first top 10 win on a hard court since November 2023. So it's been a really rough period for Stefanos Tsitsipas. He struggled for, it seems, some time. We know there's a lot of off-court antics with his dad. Is he the coach? Is he not now? Paula Badoza, are they together? Are they not now? His cryptic tweets, his cryptic messages in the media, the backhand, which always seems very weak under pressure. But he started very promisingly. And you can see he's not started in that way at all in 2025 because he didn't do very well in 2025. So it's a great start to 2026 for Stefanos Tsitsipas. And I'm urging I'm more on the side of optimism with him, that I think he will have a better season. And I think maybe we could have missed out on him because I think potentially he could be inside that top 10.
Yeah, far too early to tell, though. And never forget that there's always a lot of young players coming through. And that's why he's found himself where he is in the world, because ultimately there are hungrier players on the tour than Stefanos Tsitsipas. And last year he was a bit of a journeyman. I think he wasn't really anybody who blew anybody out of the water in any tournament. And that's what happens. If you don't do anything for an entire year, which is anything notable, then you will end up around about where he is. So if he has some good tournaments this year and starts the year well, does a good Australian Open, good clay court swing, yeah, he's going to be right back up there, top 10. But will it happen? Not so sure. I think that we're now seeing other players like Fonseca's, people like that coming to the forefront. And it's going to be hard to get past those players, especially if you're a lower ranked seed. You're going to be facing some more difficult players in the earlier rounds of slams as well. But Stefanos Tsitsipas, he divides opinion. We like somebody like him on a podcast because there's always something to talk about. And some people love him, some people don't like him. Somebody who always fell out with him, Daniel Medvedev. He seems to have started the year pretty well. He looks like he's back to winning ways again. And this is the type of Medvedev who I think his results matter more coming into the Australian Open more than anybody else, because he's somebody who's sort of lacked a bit of confidence last year. He went on a great run back end of last year, and now he looks like he's continuing it. We're starting to see that drive coming back from Daniel, and he will need it. He's been crushed in slam finals before. He's lost from 2 sets up. Now he needs to fight back and get himself to the position where he was one of the best, if not the best, hardcourt player on tour. It's going to be really tough because we haven't seen Jannik Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz on a tennis court this year yet. And as soon as their heads appear, they will be the favourites, no doubt.
And that's the problem with Daniel Medvedev. As much as I agree, it is important how he starts this year. And before the Australian Open, notoriously one of his best Grand Slams he performs at. He's had some really tough losses there over the years, where he looked like he had it sort of wrapped up and lost. He can't beat Carlos Alcaraz and he can't beat Jannik Sinner. I mean, aside from that win at Wimbledon against Sinner, he's lost so many in a row against Sinner. And with Carlos Alcaraz, he's losing, I think, the head-to-head 6-2. He's lost the last 4 on the bounce. And that's hard courts mainly, and one grass at Wimbledon. I just fear that the fact that as much as he's doing all right now, I just don't think him or Tsitsipas really have the weapons to beat the likes of Sinner and Alcaraz. I feel Sinner and Alcaraz, if they're to lose, it's going to be from someone else. It's not going to be from one of the 90s crew. It will be maybe a younger player or just some freak result like a Rinda Kanesh or something. I just don't feel like it's going to be. It's not like the mainstayers, the ones who we thought were going to replace the big three. Them guys don't beat Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. It has to be a real freakish result, or which I don't think is even likely. More so a younger player, a young, inspired player, like a Yuri Lehechka maybe, or someone kind of like that who could just do some great things.
I think
who's the other Czech guy? I keep forgetting his name.
What, Thomas Mahac?
No, he's younger.
Oh, Jakub Mensik.
Yeah, Jakub Mensik.
Yeah, definitely. He's the youngest out of all of them, and probably with the highest ceiling as well. But I think Daniel Medvedev, the one thing with him is it's just aggression on the tennis court. If he can, I don't mean like aggression as in throwing his dummy
He shows
out
enough of that.
I think the aggressive style of play is why he suddenly became better at the back end of last year. He was trying to shorten points. He was trying to hit through the ball a bit more. You started to see that flop, sweat, hair stuck to his head again. That was the real Daniel Medvedev returned for a bit, where he just looks completely shattered, but he's able to just go like consistently for long rallies. I think that is the one that we want to see back. Unfortunately, people know how to play against the really long rally Medvedev now. You saw Tien, he's happy just to stay in the rallies with him. Aggression is the key for Daniel Medvedev. Controlled aggression, and I mean with the tennis and with the antics as well. because sometimes it boils over a bit too much, and then we don't even see any of his tennis. It's just all about his theatrics. Somebody who we haven't spoken about as well for a while, who is somebody who has probably done the best, I would say, other than Carlos Alcaraz against Yannick Sinner, is Grigor Dimitrov. That Wimbledon.
I've got him up right now. As you're saying it, I've got a lot to say about Grigor.
Brilliant. Yeah. So Grigor Dimitrov, if we think back 6 months, he was on the brink of taking out Yannick Sinner at Wimbledon. He was 2 sets to love up and obviously had a freak injury. We never know. Sinner might have come back anyway, but it didn't look good. And Dimitrov looked fantastic in that match. That is the difference. Like, somebody who plays with that level of aggression. We didn't even consider him for the top 10 this year. Were we stupid?
No, we're not stupid. He won't make the top 10. He's 34 years of age, and I just don't think consistently he's going to be able to play at the level anymore. Despite saying that, how amazing is it to see him yet again, another year playing tennis? He won his opening match. Let me get it up. It was against Carreño Busta, which you'd probably expect him to win on paper, but still had to go and do it. Wawrinka is going to be his last. Wawrinka is going to be his last year this year.
Yeah.
And Grigor Dimitrov, I don't think is going to be too far behind, but the level he's performing at still is insane. Like you say, only a few months ago, one of the last tournaments he played at Wimbledon against Yannick Sinner, he was 2 sets up and then pulled out and retired. There's been so many retirements. Like, all of his losses come without him completing the match, it seems. Yeah. And I'm just really encouraged to see him back playing tennis. Can he make top 10? No. In fact, I'm confident in saying there is no chance Grigor Dimitrov will make top 10 because he just is unable to play the duration of a season at the top level. And even when he was fit and younger, he was unable to do it. So I don't think that's all of a sudden going to change now.
Yeah, maybe you're right. The injuries have always been a problem for him. It's such a shame because such an attractive, not just man, but playing style. He does so well in making that one-handed backhand look so easy. Some of the shots against Busta in that match, he just caressed it. It doesn't even, there's no even power on some of the shots. He just goes across court with just such ease, and Busta just watches it. The angles he's able to create with that backhand, it's just it's incredible. And the fact that he can keep doing it, and obviously Wawrinka, another guy who's just come back, he's having a great start to the year as well. The old guard, the single-handed backhanders. We got Tsitsipas, we got Wawrinka, we've now got Dimitrov back as well. They're all outside the top 10. Are we going to be getting the single-handers back in the top 10 in 2026?
No, not top 10. You're going too much with this top 10, but can they win tournaments still? Yes, they can, because they're fantastic tennis players who I think on their day can beat most players. If Yannick Sinner and Alcaraz aren't there. But one thing I wanted to just highlight, this is, of course, we're talking about ATP Brisbane.
Mm-hmm.
Medvedev is the outright favourite at 2.3. Any guesses who the second favourite is?
I mean, it's going to be tough. Who else is in there? Like Seb Korda, I think he's in there, isn't he? Who else is in there? Kamil Madrazak is his next opponent. Don't think he'll be the...
Who's your second favourite?
I would go with... It's got to be Grigor Dimitrov.
No, it's not. It's actually Korda. So they have Korda at 5.5.
Oh, they have Korda, really?
And then Dimitrov 7.5. Dimitrov third favourite.
Wow. That's surprising.
Personally,
Korda does well there, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. But I don't think he's going to win it. I'm actually going for the favourite. I think Daniel Medvedev's going to win this tournament. I know I said it to you off air before we went live with this one.
What do you reckon on... we had Kyrgios made a return as well. We haven't spoken about his exhibition, but he had an actual match, let's say, where the court was actually the same size down the other end this time. And unfortunately, this time he lost, and it was to Kovacevic.
He was fatigued as well. He was blowing. He was struggling in the match against Sabalenka physically.
He's retired, isn't
It's
he?
the end. It's the end of Nick Kyrgios in a singles fashion. I mean, doubles, I think he could still do something. Don't get me wrong. Doubles wise, of course, there's a little bit less movement, and his hands is great, and I think he's a good doubles player. Singles wise, completely finished. I've got nothing to say about it. On the exhibition, I don't think it is a great idea. I know some people were quite positive about it. Sabalenka was ultra positive. Iga come out and criticized it and said it's not good for women's tennis. I don't really find it empowering in the sense at all. When Billie Jean King did it many years ago, she requested that they have the same court, same conditions. To play on a smaller court, you're instantly then saying men are superior and stronger and better. So I need a smaller court. I don't understand what it's trying to prove. I don't think it's needed because they're, like you say, they're two different sports.
Yeah.
You've got men's tennis and women's tennis. You've got the ATP Tour, WTA Tour. You've got the respective Grand Slams. Why don't we leave it as that? I think it works quite well. Of course, hypothetically, you always get people in the pub saying, "Oh, do you reckon you could go and beat Serena Williams?" Probably not if you're not a professional tennis player. But if you are a professional tennis player above maybe 500 in the world, you probably can beat her. But it doesn't take anything away from her greatness because she's great at women's tennis.
Exactly.
Do you not understand? I don't understand what this whole thing is trying to prove. And I think, if anything, all it does is gives a platform to misogynists and gives a platform to people who want to break women's tennis. I think it does what it does. It does more bad things for women's tennis doing this exhibition than good.
And for me, I don't think it really helps when you've got somebody who is the victor of it. If it was Alcaraz, let's say, or Sinner versus Sabalenka, and then it was and they made it into a bit of a spectacle, and they're at the top of the sport. But unfortunately, it's somebody who's pretty much retired and coming back from 2 years off injured and has beats the number one women's player in the world, which doesn't really give any good look. And they're saying any eyes on it is good. It's like any press is good press because more eyes on the sport. And if you like these types
Wasn't
of
it only first serves as well?
It was, yeah. And I think that she said, "Oh, for the next one, I want to have 2 serves and he'll only have 1 serve." So they should just keep on changing it until what? They just keep changing it. Maybe he just stands on one leg for the whole thing. And how stupid do we want to make this? He has to play with his left hand and serve with his left.
I think next one they have to play you.
I mean, it's ridiculous. The whole thing for me didn't make it. It's a spectacle. We get it. We're in the era of Jake Paul style.
It's pub
events.
talk, Ben. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because where was I the other day? I was on the tube in London, and I overheard people next to me who don't watch any. Clearly, I think there was builders, and they were talking about the match, Sabalenka and Kyrgios, and they was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, well, and guess what? She lost." And it's like, and I'm just listening to it, thinking, this is just not good for the sport. Like,
No.
it's gone out there to people who don't even watch tennis, and all they're doing is kind of mocking it.
Yeah, and then they're not going to watch women's tennis now. They're going to think, "Oh, that's rubbish, isn't it? I mean, she couldn't even beat this guy who's not played in 2 years, and he's got injured as well. Apparently, he's coming back from a bad injury. Like, what's going on? He doesn't even want to play. He's just played actual tennis, and he's just got beaten comfortably by. I'm not being out of order. Kovacevic isn't really setting the world on fire. He's a good player, but yeah, Kyrgios, unfortunately, he has come out, and I do feel sorry for him in a way because of the injury, because he's putting himself in the same bracket as people like Dominic Thiem and people who have had these type of injuries, and he just said once that's happened, that's pretty much it, really. He's sort of seeing it as the end of his career as well. So at least he's honest about it, and at least he's still trying to bring some sort of entertainment to tennis fans out there. Because I'm not against it. If people actually want to go and watch it and people like that type of thing, go for it. If that's what makes people happy and they're prepared to go out and pay to go watch that and they think it's a fun day out, I'm all for exhibition stuff like that, especially if it's. But I don't think you need to have Sabalenka doing it. I think Kyrgios versus maybe somebody else. Like, just if you want to make it, maybe Serena Williams. That'd probably be better, I think, because at least she's retired. At least it doesn't make a bit of a mockery of the current world number one on the women's side. And Serena Williams probably draws more eyes in as well. She's talking about coming back, isn't she? Why not do that?
Yeah, let's speak about a more positive story. I know we're
Raducanu?
dashing about. No, we'll speak about that. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to speak about, but that's why we are back with 2026. The holiday's over. We're gonna have to start doing these more regularly,
for sure,
again, because we've got so much to speak about.
Yeah.
And I feel if
do
we
you
don't
wanna
do the
go next?
podcasts, and it's all just contained within, and I can't let it out. So I want to speak about Alex Eala. I know you've done a few
Ooh.
videos about it. She's
Oh,
playing right now
yeah,
against a player who I think's fantastic.
she is.
Marcinko, I think you
Yep,
say.
correct.
She's from Croatia. She's 20 years old.
Yep.
She's someone I've had on my radar back end of last year. She's on a really good winning streak. I think
Yep.
she's a fantastic player. If she was outside the top 100, I would have had her for my wild card this year without a doubt. Alex Eala has just bageled her in Auckland. Alex Eala is turning up in 2026. And what a player she is. I think she is a better claim for top 10 than Raducanu. So we can bring in your Raducanu debate in this one if you fancy, because I think you've missed a big trick not going for someone like an Alex Eala. If you're going to take a risk like you did with Raducanu, surely the sensible risk would be Alex Eala, who is only going to be getting better, who loves tennis, who dedicates herself to the sport, who has such an exciting game style, and her matches are very entertaining.
Yeah,
I mean, not always
so
for the best as
entertaining.
well. There's times when she loses matches and we have crazy tie breaks. But look what she's just done against Marcinko. She's just bageled her in the opening set. And we're bringing this podcast to you while the match is going on.
Yeah,
22 minutes.
It's crazy. I mean, I had Eala down to win this. Marcinko did get bageled in her last match as well. It was a win against Osorio Solano, which is quite a good win as well. But she did get bageled in the second set. She's a really good player. This is the level that Eala's at right now. I think that she has leveled up in mentality. To beat Donna Vekic, that's so difficult as your first round match. Like, Donna Vekic, even though she's ranked outside the top 60, that's what I said in the post match reaction. That's so difficult to beat because you go into a slam, everyone's wanting to avoid Donna Vekic. You always putting her as a dark horse in every single tournament. And she beat her in a really tough match, came through in that third set. Like we've seen her do time and time again. Third set, she loves it. The crowd literally were all on her side. There's so many Filipino fans going to this event in Auckland. And Donna Vekic could barely get a shot away before the crowd were like, ooh, like in the rally. And the umpire kept saying, please, can you stop making noises in the rally? Because it's not fair to the players. But they're so passionate. They can't help it. And as soon as she won, they're all going mad. And she's there giving it the love heart to them. I think it's like another Fonseca effect, but for the women's side.
Definitely. And I'm quite keen to watch the second set. So let's move on to the next story.
For sure. We have to touch on it just because we have mentioned. I thought it might be 1 year too soon for Eala, but I'm all for it. If she explodes this year.
Imagine she wins this tournament, then the hype's going to be quite big.
But yeah, an absolute disaster start for the year. Good for Noskova, for you. Terrible for Raducanu, for me. She had an injury and pulled out of her first match. I don't understand how she had the injury and then was able to play the second match. So the Osaka match, we didn't get to see, but then she got to play.
It's just nonsense, though. It's not a real injury because there's no disclosure of what the injury was.
Oh no, it was Tim Henman came out and he apparently, because he's speaking within her camp, and apparently it was something to do with her foot, I believe. But it's
nonsense.
So
I'm sorry, it's just everyone's got small niggles here and there. I don't really want to start 2026 on this negative bandwagon because I
No,
feel like I'm going to have too much to say about it. But all in all, this is what you get with her. It's
wasn't a
just a
good
really
look.
stupid decision from you, mate.
Well, let's wait and see.
No, I can tell you now, she's not going to be inside the top 10. It's a loss before it started. It's a strange choice to have someone like an Emma Raducanu being deemed a consistent tennis player. If you was to say, okay, I think she's going to go on and win a big event, win a Masters event, fair enough. I'll give you that. To be top 10, you'd be consistent throughout a season. Zero chance.
So she said she said to produce that level just by the circumstances I have to be proud of, even if it's very difficult right now. And this is in the loss to Maria Sakkari, who probably had something to prove. Obviously, she hasn't done well against Emma Raducanu in their other meetings, and she definitely wanted this one back. You could tell. Yeah, she's got that win, and then she lost to Coco Gauff straight away after winning that match. But I don't think we can look too much into this. Hopefully, it's just the worst possible start for me. I didn't want it to start on this whole pulling out of matches and
Well,
all of
she's got a
that.
new sponsor, so that's exciting.
Oh,
I
nice!
don't know
Now
if you
we're
know, she's
talking.
moved from Nike over to Uniqlo.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
So she's the first female tennis ambassador for Uniqlo. Of course, Roger Federer was the one
Yeah, the big
who
one.
was the face of it for
I'll
many
pop that
years,
on.
and then he moved over to On Running his own, which I think he's got a big stake in as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, on running, absolutely fantastic. Has some great people over at On Running as well. And yeah, I absolutely love On Running. Obviously, when I go out running, I use On Running. So and I would like to get some tennis shoes, because if they're as good as the actual running shoes, then hopefully it'll improve my movement around the court, which is a bit sluggish, I think, to say the least. Where should we move on next? We move away from Raducanu. We've spoken about Eala, and we've spoken a little bit about the United Cup. I think Hong Kong is another tournament which is going on right now. We need to speak about that, because somebody who's big for top 10 for you, Lorenzo Musetti, he's tough matches, but he's winning the tough matches. And he won this match against Echeverri. It was convincing, I think, to come through in the third set 6-4. But he was a set down, so showing that fight again.
Yeah, I've not seen much of it, and I feel it's difficult to say much about this tournament until we see Bublik play. What level is he going to be at? Karen Hachanov as well. He's sort of the fourth seed. Rublev got his match done in 3. I'm not expecting big things from him. But on paper, I think Musetti has good chances of winning. I think my big eyes are on Bublik to see, is he going to be similar to last year? If so, we could have a good final if it's the 1 and 2 seed.
Has he fooled a lot of people into putting them into their top 10? I think they have, because a lot of people in
A
our
lot of
comments.
people have, yeah. My dad, I think, has got Bublik inside the top 10.
Well, if he's focused and he stops messing around, you see how good he is. I do not blame people for doing it, but consistency is key. So we'll see. If he starts the year well, we know how good he is come the grass court swing and the back end of the year. Could we see him at the tour finals come 2026 November time? I think this could be a great start for him. Just needs to get past Butik van der Zandschulp, though, and that's not an easy first matchup. As we know, he's beaten the likes of people like Carlos Alcaraz, and he's already had a warm-up match there, beating Jan-Lennard Struff in 3 sets. Another big result. Obviously, we're in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is for Coleman Wong. He's doing great in Hong Kong, and that is the next match for Lorenzo Musetti. What a match that is!
Yeah, it is a good one.
It's a brilliant match, and Coleman Wong knocked out Diallo in 3 sets. He's knocked out Navone in the first round. He's obviously a wild card into the event, being from Hong Kong. Can he go
Big
further?
test. Massive test for him. But if he wins that, then that will be huge. And you never know. I feel like it could align in the way he's there playing in Hong Kong.
Potentially. There is one tournament obviously going on with the women's. Obviously, we got Auckland. We've spoken about that with Eala, but there is Brisbane going on for the women's as well. So we should quickly touch on that before we wrap up. Been some shock results. Fernandez getting absolutely smashed by Yastremska. I didn't see that one coming at all. Got Kalinskaya Pegula. Pegula won that. Towson losing to Sasnovich. Sasnovich, a very strange player. I mean, she was good a few years back, and who knows? Maybe she's going to turn it around again. Noskova, someone you've got in your top 10, doing well. Mila Andreeva picking up a win. Anisimova looking dominant. So this could be somebody who's going to have another very good year as well. So some interesting results there on the women's side.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of it. Anisimova is probably my favourite.
I would say either her or Pegula for sure. Two more stories before we wrap up, and I think we've got to speak about one of them because it's been doing the rounds on tennis Twitter or tennis X, and it is, of course, this crazy tennis match which has been going on. I'm not sure where it's being played, but there's a wild card entry into is it an ITF event?
Yep.
Yeah, in Nairobi. And it seems like this person has probably never played tennis before based upon watching their performance in this match. I don't know how much we can show of it, but if we just watch one of these epic serves, reminds me of one of mine, to be fair. That's I'll show you. So
no, it's insane. I don't understand how it's allowed to happen.
There's a good. That one just cleared the baseline, that serve. So and no, she lost the ball on that occasion. What else have we got on this? Did she get one of the serves in? Here we go. Good. No, that one off the frame. So not too good, the level there. I'm assuming it was a double bagel. The final result for this one. I'd be surprised if she got a point on the board, let alone any games with this horrific performance. And everyone's just saying, surely, it's almost like punked or something. I expect Ashton Kutcher to run out and just punk the player down the other end, because this, surely, it just doesn't look like an actual match. Looks like someone's just taken their mum to the tennis court and just gone here you go, here's a racket. And then they're going, I've never not played for 40 years. And they're like, how'd you do it? No. Yeah, I don't really understand it. It feels like a joke.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it was a double bagel, 37 minutes. She won 3 points in the match. All of them were errors from the opponent. It included 20 double faults, including the first 9 and final 7 serves of the match. So it's just a complete beginner playing an ITF. I don't think that can happen in any other sport. But it did happen here, and I feel like it's just a bit embarrassing. Shouldn't happen. There's not much more to say about it.
No, there definitely isn't. And we cannot end this episode without covering one thing, and it's big in the tennis world. It's not lighthearted. It's actually very, very sad, and it's somebody who has actually passed away. Huge for challenger tennis, huge for lower ranked tennis. It's actually somebody we've spoken to as well. He's been on Talking Tennis with John Silk, and it is Damian Kust has passed away over, I think it's the last 24 hours. I mean, this is a huge shock, so sad. Somebody who pretty much gave his life to reporting on the Challenger Tour and giving people insights into all of these players coming up. And that's why we sort of got to know him. But this is what we used to do as well. We were so into the Challenger Tour when we first came, starting the podcast. And he literally every day religiously was talking about it. And sadly he's no longer with us.
Yeah, I echo what you said. It's very sad. Only 26 years old, massive tennis fan, extremely knowledgeable about everything on the Challenger Tour. Of course, very good friends with someone we're quite close to in John Silk, appeared on his channel on many occasions. And we've been in John's company where he spoke about Damian and his love for the sport. He's even spoke about us and some of our views on tennis, and Damian was involved in it as well. It's just super sad, and thoughts to everyone close to him, his family at this difficult time. It was sudden. I saw some of the tweets where he was saying he's not been available for the last few months online. It's just a rare disease, and it's super sad. And hopefully that we can carry the flag of someone who was such a big character in tennis to promote the Challenger Tour, because that's what he wanted more than anything. He loved Challenger tennis. He was always great as well for every single Grand Slam event for the qualifiers, because a lot of them were from the Challenger Tour. He used to give a really good insight on all of the qualifiers, which I must admit I used on a regular basis. So, yeah, rest in peace, Damian.
Yep, definitely echo that. So I think that's where we will end this episode. Leave your thoughts about everything we have discussed on this episode in the comments section. We will be back very, very soon because there's so much tennis going on. The Australian Open is so close as well. So we will be ramping it up as the tournament gets closer. So make sure you've hit that notification bell and you will get notified for all of our content.
See you soon.
See you.